Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a closer look at some really fascinating material all about habit formation. How we build habits and change our behavior.
Yeah, and we've got a great guide for this. It's a summary of James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. Super insightful stuff.
Right, and our mission today is really to unpack the big ideas from that summary, to figure out how these tiny, almost invisible changes can, well, add up over time to make a huge difference in your life.
Totally. It kind of flips the script, doesn't it? It argues that you don't need these massive, life-altering changes to see results.
No huge overhauls needed.
Nope. Instead, it's all about small, consistent improvements, what the summary calls atomic habits, like the little building blocks of change.
Okay, atomic habits. Let's dive into that core idea first and this power of small changes and what the summary calls compound growth.
It seems so basic on the surface, right? Just make tiny little tweaks. We're talking about getting maybe just 1% better each day.
1%. I mean, that sounds like almost nothing. How could that possibly make a real difference?
Well, that's where the compounding comes in, like compound interest with money.
Ah, okay. I see the parallel.
Yeah, and the summary uses this really striking example. It says, if you actually manage to improve by just 1% every single day,
Uh-huh.
by the end of 1 year, you're not just, a bit better. You are apparently 37 times better than when you started.
Wait, 37 times? Seriously? That number's kind of staggering when you think about it. All from 1% a day.
It totally reframes things, doesn't it? It's not about the size of the change on any given day. It's the consistency. The summary really hammers this point home. Focus on the process, the system you build, rather than just staring at the finish line.
Right. The system is what delivers those compounded results quietly in the background.
Exactly. It's the system.
So, okay, how do we actually build these systems? The summary lays out a pretty clear framework for this, doesn't it? Yeah. The 4 laws of behavior change.
Yes. It's super practical. It connects these 4 laws directly to the habit loop most of us know. Cue, craving, response, reward. Helps you build good habits, break bad ones.
Let's walk through them then.
Yeah.
Law number 1 is make it obvious. And that connects to the cue, right?
Right. Every habit starts with a trigger, some kind of signal. So this law is all about designing your surroundings so the right signals, the right cues are, well, obvious.
Making the good cues easy to see.
You got it. And the flip side is making the cues for bad habits invisible, or at least harder to stumble upon.
Okay, like the examples they give.
Yeah, simple stuff. Want to exercise more? Put your gym clothes out where you can't miss them. That's an obvious cue. Want to eat less junk food?
Don't keep it in the house. Make the cue invisible.
Exactly. It sounds almost too basic, but that little bit of environmental design can be surprisingly powerful.
Okay, makes sense. Law 2, make it attractive. This targets the craving part.
Yeah, we're wired to repeat things that feel good or appealing, right? So you need to make the habit itself, or the idea of doing it, more attractive.
How do you do that?
Well, one cool technique mentioned is temptation bundling.
Temptation bundling. Okay, tell me more.
It's pretty clever. You basically link something you want to do with something you need to do.
Okay.
The summary's example is great. Let's say you want to read more books, but you really enjoy your morning coffee. You make a rule. You only get to drink that delicious coffee while you are reading your book. You're using the existing craving the coffee to make the reading habit seem more appealing.
So you're kind of bribing yourself with something you already love. I like that. Okay, law 3, make it easy. This focuses on the response, the actual doing of the habit.
Right. This is all about reducing friction. The harder something is to do, the less likely we are to actually, do it, especially consistently.
So make it require less effort.
As little effort as possible to get started. That's the key. Break it down. And the summary talks about the 2-minute rule here.
2-minute rule?
Yeah, the idea is any new habit should take less than 2 minutes to start. So if your big goal is, say, run a 5K, the 2-minute version might just be put on running shoes.
Just the very first step.
Exactly. If it's write a book, maybe it's write 1 sentence, it lowers that initial hurdle, makes it feel less daunting to just begin.
Getting started is often the hardest part.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, and the last one, law 4, make it satisfying, linked to the reward.
Yes. Our brains love immediate rewards. We repeat things that feel good right away.
Delayed gratification is tough.
It really is.
Yeah.
So this law is about giving yourself some kind of immediate positive feedback right after you do the habit. It helps lock it in.
Like what kind of rewards?
Could be simple things. The summary suggests, maybe watching an episode of your favorite show right after your workout or having a healthy snack you enjoy. Just something that gives you that little hit of satisfaction and tells your brain, hey, that was good, let's do it again.
That immediate positive reinforcement. Yeah, I can see how that would work.
Yeah.
But, the summary also brings up something really important because change, well, it isn't always instant, is it?
No, definitely not.
What happens when you're doing all this stuff, making it obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying, but you're just not seeing results?
Yeah.
Weeks go by, maybe months. That's got to be discouraging.
Oh, hugely discouraging. And the summary tackles this head on. It calls it the plateau of latent potential.
The plateau of latent potential.
Okay, it's that phase where you're putting in the effort, things are happening under the surface, but the big visible results haven't shown up yet.
Feels like you're spinning your wheels, maybe.
Exactly. The analogy used is fantastic. It's like melting ice. You can heat ice from, say, 10 degrees Fahrenheit up to 31, 32 degrees.
It still looks like ice.
Right. All that energy is going in, changing things internally, but outwardly, nothing seems different. Then, suddenly, at 33 degrees, boom, it starts melting fast.
So the breakthrough can feel sudden, even though the work was building up all along.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the big message there is keep going. Persistence is crucial. Trust the process, trust the system. Even when you're on that plateau and can't see the progress yet, it is happening.
That's a powerful reminder. Okay, another really interesting shift, though, summary talks about is moving towards identity-based habits. This feels deeper.
It really is a shift in focus. Instead of just setting goals like, I want to lose X pounds or I want to finish project Y, you focus on who you want to become. What kind of person do you want to be?
So it's not just lose weight, it's become the kind of person who values their health and makes healthy choices.
You nailed it. When your habits align with the identity you're trying to build, the actions feel more authentic. Less like chores you have to do and more like expressions of who you are.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, the summary uses that exact example. Focus on being a healthy person. Then, the habits exercising, eating well, they become ways of reinforcing that identity rather than just tasks on a to-do list.
It makes the motivation feel more internal, more rooted. Like each little habit is a vote cast for the person you want to be.
That's a great way to put it. Each action confirms that identity.
So, framework, compounding, plateau, identity. What about some more concrete techniques? The summary mentions habit stacking.
Oh yeah, habit stacking is super practical. It basically piggybacks a new habit onto one you already do without thinking.
So you build on an existing foundation?
Exactly. The structure is simple. After I current habit, I will new habit.
Okay.
So the summary suggests, like, after I brush my teeth in the morning, I will meditate for 1 minute. Or after I pour my morning coffee, I will read 1 page of a book. The old habit becomes the cue for the new one.
It makes it almost automatic to remember the new thing. Clever. And environment design comes up again too, right? We touched on it with make it obvious.
Yes, it's emphasized strongly. Your environment isn't just there, it actively shapes what you do. So being intentional about designing your space, your home, your office is critical.
Making the good stuff easy and the bad stuff hard.
Right. The classic example. Put the fruit bowl on the counter, hide the cookies in the back of the cupboard. You're setting yourself up for success without constantly relying on willpower.
Okay, so that covers building the good habits. What about getting rid of the ones we don't want? Breaking bad habits.
Well, essentially, you just flip the 4 laws on their head. You invert them.
So instead of make it obvious.
Make it invisible. Remove the cues. Instead of make it attractive.
Make it unattractive.
Yeah, reframe it negatively. Think about the downsides instead of make it easy.
Make it difficult. Add friction. Add steps.
Right, and instead of make it satisfying.
Make it unsatisfying.
Yeah.
Introduce some kind of immediate downside or consequence.
Exactly. So if you smoke, the summary suggests making it harder by, say, keeping your cigarettes somewhere really inconvenient. Adds friction, makes it less easy, less immediate.
It's about disrupting that easy automatic loop for the bad habit.
Oh.
Okay? And then staying on track long term. What does the summary suggest for that? Habit tracking. Accountability.
Both are really important. Tracking your habits, just checking off that you did it each day, creates a visual cue of your progress. It's motivating, especially seeing that streak build up. You don't want to break the chain.
The visual proof that you're sticking with it.
Yeah, and accountability helps too. Just telling someone, a friend, a partner, what you're trying to do adds a layer of social pressure, in a good way. You're more likely to follow through if you know someone else might ask you about it.
Makes sense. Okay, so if we boil all this down, pull together the main threads from the summary, what are the absolute key takeaways for you?
Well, the summary really brings it home with a few core ideas worth hitting again. First, definitely focus on the systems, not just the goals. Build the process.
Right.
Second, never underestimate that compounding power of small habits. That 1% rule, it's real. Third, that shift to identity. Think about who you want to become and let your habits reflect that.
Become the person who does the things.
Exactly. Fourth, make those good habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Use those 4 laws proactively. And fifth, recognize how much your environment shapes you. So take control and design it to support your goals. Don't just let it happen to you.
It really changes how you think about change itself, doesn't it? It's less about this huge heroic effort and more about these small, smart, consistent choices embedded in your daily life.
Yeah, it's about building systems that work for you, making the good stuff feel almost automatic over time.
Well, this has been a great deep dive into the core ideas from that Atomic Habits summary. Really practical stuff.
Absolutely. It gives you a clear roadmap, which is incredibly helpful.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening based on all this. If getting just 1% better each day really can make you 37 times better in a year, what's one tiny system you could tweak or one small aspect of the identity you want to build that you could start voting for today? Just one small thing.
Yeah, what's that first tiny step, that first vote? Find that.